ape swap partnership. Go into some detail about that because that's very, very bullish. That's something I'm excited about. And then the dogs migration, which we are wrapping up right now. We're just testing the UI. The contracts are done. And we'll have it up by Monday, right? That's the plan. So we can start having people start sending in their dogs tokens either by tomorrow night or Monday morning. We'll give people a week to do it. We also plan on doing the MasterChef pigs crediting, which will allow people to take their pigs that were available to claim on the MasterChef and use the credit contract to either send them to the pig pen or send them to the piggy bank. There is only less than 2% of the supply, which is actually going to be credited because that's all there was. But well, first of all of these pigs are either being credited to the piggy bank, which requires BUSD to be sent in. So that's a deeper liquidity pool, which is positive for pigs, or it's vested, which means it can't be dumped on the market. So crediting 2% of the supply isn't going to have some major impact on the price anyways. It really wouldn't have any impact on the price. But when you're crediting in a way that is vested or through BUSD pairing, it's actually positive for the price. So we want to get that done next week as well. We were initially going to credit these people with the Pigs MasterChef and on the Pigs MasterChef contracts. But we want to do it, ASAP, right? Because we want to be holding people's capital for as short amount of time as possible. Ensuring that we keep positive game theory and set up everything to have the most positive effect on the price. So I'm just giving a few minutes here before we get into it to let people come in. So I talked to my front end dev, right? I have a team of front end devs who are working with me now, and essentially one guy who I consider a partner is he's managing them. And then he has a team of front-end guys that are working for him. And I was speaking to him yesterday about pushing the updates, such as the countdown to the compounding, the countdown to next available compounding, button to compound all stakes on piggy bank, and what we need to do to allow auto compounding in Pigpen. And he started pushing these countdowns already. And one of them was one that we didn't ask for, which is essentially a 50-day countdown on Pigpen, which I told him to remove, and it's already removed. If you refresh the site now, you'll see that it's been removed. And the reason why I want that removed is because there isn't a 50-day countdown until you can unstick. It's 2% daily, and then if you don't claim anything for 50 days, then of course 2% daily equals 100% at 50 days. But having a 50-day countdown to unstake makes it appear like you have to wait 50 days to be able to unstake anything, and that if you it just gets across the wrong the wrong information. I think it doesn't. It will add more confusion than not. So I told him to remove it. But the other countdowns, such as the countdown to compound and the ability to compound all stakes, is also something that we're working on that we're going to try to get pushed in the next 24 hours. So we have a list, like a 5 or 6 item list of things that we need to do to the UI, which we're going to try to get done in the next 48 hours. So, all right, we have enough people in here. So I'm going to talk about the ApeSwap partnership. So I've been going back and forth with several of these dexes, right, that want a partnership with Animal Farm, negotiating deals with them to see where we're going to get the best deal, right? So there were, a few options on the table, and what I cared about the most was that we are able to take our single assets and our LP tokens and earn yield on them, especially our native assets. What DEX can we work with to get the highest yield for these assets, and what co-promotion benefits we could get through working with them. And right now we're in negotiations as far as some of the small details, but we're in the end stages of negotiations where it's both teams are very confident that we're gonna lock this in. So the way it's going to work is twofold. ApeSwap has a new product coming out called Jungle Bills, and this acts as a type of bond note where you can stake drip and drip LPs. When you stake these drip and drip LPs, it issues you an NFT, which has two benefits. One is it allows you to earn yield in drip. This yield isn't coming from newly inflated drip or drip being added to circulation. It's being paid out based on the when you locked the NFT that was issued to you, and the percentage of the staking pool that you make up. And then for holding this NFT, you also get their native asset token for under market price. And this is something that I was excited about because it's a product that they're about to launch, and I know they're going to put a lot of promotion behind it because it's their new product. And they have a big team, right? ApeSwap, they for the past, month or maybe 5 weeks or so that I've been talking with them, I've come to realize that they're serious about what they're doing, and they're not like some other dexes that are really just comfortable kind of sitting with what they have and just trying to maintain where they are. They're really trying to innovate. They're really trying to to make some cool new products. They have a full marketing team. They have DEX engineers. They have a lot of partnerships that are not involved with the Treasury Bill thing, but are just part of the other mechanisms and features on their site and on their dApp. And this is their number one thing that they're about to push. This is what's on the table for them, that they're going to put all their energy and all their resources behind. So I wanted to be a part of it because I know that they're only providing this product for what they feel is the best products in the space right now, specifically staking protocols. So they only have about 5 projects that they're working with for these treasury bills. and drip is one of them. So this is going to give us a lot of promotion from outside our community, just from them promoting their own product. Because by them promoting their own product and our token being one of the only assets in the list that people can use on their product, it promotes us. And they have a lot of money in their marketing budget to promote this. And as I said, they have a full marketing team that's prepared to push this. So that's why I agreed to be part of, this partnership and this product in this way. And then also, it's another way that stakers and holders of drip can earn revenue. And it's another incentive for people to be adding liquidity, buying and staking drip. So that's all, that's all positive. But what I told them is, I'm interested in this, of course I am. But what I'm more interested in is that we're able to earn yield for staking our native assets. When I say our native assets, I'm talking specifically about dogs and drip. And those LP tokens, drip BUSD, dog BUSD. So I told them that it has to be a package deal, essentially. If we're going to work with you and be a part of this treasury bills product, which is going to be positive for all of us, I think that we're bringing a lot to the table as well, right? We have a huge community. We might even be bringing more to the table than what we would get just from this treasury bill thing. So I use this as a bit of leverage to let them know that it has to be a package deal. If we're going to do the treasury bills, we also need to be able to stake and earn yield in our native assets on ApeSwap. And also, we went through all of their current staking pools and lending pools. We determined what we would likely get as far as TVL on these pools, and then made an agreement where if we get to this TVL, the APY needs to be at least over a specific threshold. I'm not going to say what the threshold is because it's in the end stages of negotiations and all these numbers are worked out. But let me just say significant APY, right? The APY needs to be significant when we reach this TVL. Because the way that not just Animal Farm, but all MasterChef contracts work is that there is a certain amount of tokens that are issued to that farm every block. Now, Animal Farm has the ability to look at the demand for the token and then adjust the amount of tokens that are being issued to that pool or farm as a reward based on the demand. This way, it can restrict supply in times where demand is waning and increase supply in times when demand is high, to keep the rewards high, but not inflate the supply to the degree that it causes sell pressure. So we're the only farm that can do this. It has that ability. This is what sets us apart from all the other farms in the space. Well, one of the many things that sets us apart. But generally, how these farms work are there's a specific amount of tokens that are issued to a pool or a farm per block, and then the amount of TVL that comes onto that farm or onto that pool, as that TVL increases, it dilutes the APY per token for everybody in that pool or farm. And this is why you see the APY start out very high and then reduce as the TVL increases on farms and pools. So essentially what I told them was, what we need to work out here is that our APY can never drop below this level at a TVL of I gave a non-arbitrary value of 20 million. So essentially what I said was we're going to get at least 20 million, right? Most likely many multiples higher than that, but I wanted to be very conservative and say that at minimum we're going to get 20 million in this farm. And the TVL needs to be high enough that we don't go under this threshold at all, even if our TVL gets up to 20 million. And it's a threshold that will allow us to be earning about $40 million a year in additional yield that will be used as BUSD dividends in the pig pen. So this is what I was looking for a DEX partnership. You know, not so much who's the biggest DEX, not so much, you know, who has, you know, whatever is whoever's hyped this week or whatever. I look specifically at who are we going to get the best deal that's going to allow us to earn as much yield as possible for our capital. And it just, you know, I think due to the fact that we already had our foot in the door with ApeSwap, with the Jungle Bills, it made it easier to negotiate a good deal with them. And also, they seem to be a team that is flexible, and they're willing to make adjustments that they know will be mutually positive, mutually beneficial. Now, I'm still in negotiations with PancakeSwap as well. And what it's looking like is going to happen is we're going to use a significant portion of our single assets. So what it's looking like is we're going to use all of our LP tokens, except for our native LP tokens, with PancakeSwap. And we're working with them right now to discuss potential time locking capabilities in our mastership contracts to earn additional yield. Right? So this is one thing we're talking in negotiations with PancakeSwap about. We're also in negotiations with them about single asset lending. But I have an idea that will allow us to earn high yield on our single assets, whether we negotiate this deal or not. But really, anything with PancakeSwap. So PancakeSwap, they seem to be kind of set in their ways, but they are willing to do something, some kind of partnership. And I think that doing anything with them, even if it's something relatively small, would be positive because it would allow for a co-promotion opportunity. And they are the biggest DEX in the space. So really co-promotion is what would be interesting with them. But when it comes to who can we earn the most yield with and who can we get the best deal from, it's not always about trying to get with the biggest person. It's about who you have some, you know, leverage with and who you can find that has some flexibility to meet the demands that you want to achieve, essentially. And, you know, ApeSwap so far has been great about that. So, you know, just with the partnership of us being able, of them adding Drip BUSD and Dog BUSD farms that allows us to stake our Drip BUSD and our Dogs BUSD that's on our mastership contracts, stake it on the back end like we do with all of the non-native LP tokens on PancakeSwap, will allow us to earn a minimum of $40 million a year in rewards from these farms based on the amount of LP tokens we have on those native assets on the farm and the APY floor that we negotiated with them. And this yield that we're earning is going to go directly to paying out BUSD dividends to the pig pen. So when you account for the improvements that we made to the MasterChef contracts, the adjustments that we made to the dogs tokenomics, which is pushing more BUSD into the pig pen, the improvements that we made to the liquidity helper contract, which is no longer selling dogs, it can only burn dogs or buy dogs, and then lock that liquidity. We're going to be earning, but I would say between 3 to 5x the amount of BUSD dividends on Pigpen on V2 than we did in V1. And this is just coming from the fact that we'll be earning yield, high yield on our single assets. And this is because I came up with a mechanism that will, I guess I can go into it a little bit. I don't always like to give away the sauce, but this is something that everybody will be seeing very shortly. Essentially, what it's going to do, what our contracts will do, is take our single asset LPs, pair them, and then stake them on PancakeSwap or on ApeSwap, wherever we can get the highest yield. And this way, instead of making 6% a year, APY, 8% a year APY like you make on single assets, it will be taking those single assets, pairing them, and then staking those paired assets. So we're making, 30, 40, 50% APY of them. So this alone is going to double the back end yield that we're generating to create the BUSD dividends for the Pigpen. That alone will double it. And then us being able to stake the drip BUSD and dogs BUSD LP tokens on ApeSwap on the back end is going to bring in $40 million minimum in BUSD at the negotiated rate, which I'm very confident is going to be what is the deal that's going to be had here. So that, and then when you include the increased BUSD that the dogs token will be sending to the Pigpen, and the pigs that are being paid out from the piggy bank, easy 5x the yield in the Pigpen in V2 than we had in V1. So some people have asked, when the farm goes live, is it going to be a negative thing for the pig's price because pig's rewards will be starting to be paid out? And the answer to this, in my opinion, is not at all. Because when we had the initial animal farm, before we even had the piggy bank go live, when we just had the animal farm mechanics going V1, as soon as it ticked down to low restricted, right above deflationary, pigs started making positive moves. And then when it ticked out to deflationary, pigs started pumping. And this is before we had vesting on Pigpen. This is before we had the piggy bank. So Pigs has already proven that it can appreciate in price while rewards are being emitted in a much less favorable condition than we have now in V2 with vesting in the pig pen, with the piggy bank, and now with greatly increased rewards in the pig pen, which will further incentivize people to take those pigs and put them in the pig pen instead of sell them. If you can generate a high yield of BUSD and then auto compound that BUSD to be buying more pigs for you with the BUSD you're earning and taking the pigs that you're earning from the piggy bank and compounding them into your stake to further grow your stake. That is, that's way more attractive than we had in V1. The rewards are much higher than in V1, and V1 already proved that pigs can appreciate in price, even when it's emitting rewards. And that's largely due to the dynamic supply control algorithm that we designed that allows the emission rate to adjust based on the demand for the token. So by the end of the weekend, right? So what we said was that we're gonna try to get the dogs crediting started this week. So, we've been working on it all week. We're just doing the contracts finished. We're just testing the UI right now, and we should have that up and ready to go by Monday. And then, as I said, we're gonna give a week to allow people to actually credit their dogs. So, we're going to give that week. While people are crediting their dogs, we're going to open up the pigs crediting. And this is going to allow the about 700 people that are owed essentially less than 2% of the pig supply to claim those pigs. Now, I mentioned this at first, but we have more than double the amount of people in here. We were initially going to credit them to the new mastership contracts. But for two reasons, we're using the crediting contract. For one, because we want to be able to credit them their pigs as soon as possible, right? So I know that there's people are anxious for it. There's about 700 people altogether that have pigs that need to be credited. But those pigs are a very small amount, less than 2% of the total supply. But even though it's only less than 2% of the total supply, we still want to be highly diligent that we're not just putting these tokens in people's wallets, allowing them to dump. So we're going to use the crediting contract to allow them to either credit to the piggy bank, which requires them to send in BUSD, which is positive for the pigs token because it's adding a deeper liquidity pool and adding more BUSD to the pool. So that will have a positive impact on price. Or they can credit to Pigpen, which is vested, which means that they can't dump it immediately on the market anyways. So I want to stress this because I don't want people to think, oh, pigs are about to get credited, the supply is about to increase, and is this going to cause sell pressure? It won't, because for one, it's less than 2% of the supply, and for two, it's being credited in a way that's actually positive for the price of pigs. So we're going to get that going next week as well. And then the changes as far as the UI, such as the countdown, right? You guys, some of you already saw these started already getting pushed to the UI. I had an additional countdown. One was pushed to the Pigpen, which was like a 50-day countdown. I told the my front end dev that I'm working with to remove that because it's going to confuse people. And I essentially gave him a list of things that I wanted to go up, and it was a countdown for this is things that he's been working on for the past week. Countdown to the next compound, a button that allows to compound all stakes, and auto compounding in Pigpen. Now, he also did a 50-day countdown for Pigpen, which I told him to remove because that's just going to confuse people. Because there isn't a 50-day countdown to unstake in Pigpen. If you could unstake 2% a day, and of course, if you do the math, if you're withdrawing 2% a day, that's 50 days until you've withdrawn the whole 100%. But having a 50-day countdown makes it appear like you can't withdraw until 50 days. So that's removed. And then in the next 24, 48 hours, we're going to be pushing all the other countdowns and the mechanism to compound all stakes. As far as the drip UI, we're working on the drip UI right now. We've compiled all of the testimonials. We're working on the team system because this is the major thing that we need to build for the drip UI is the ability for people to airdrop to their team without confirming each transaction individually. So what we did is build a contract that essentially allows the front end to filter out who you want to airdrop to, and then all these addresses and amounts are parsed to a contract that allows you to do one confirmation, and it airdrops to everybody at once. One easy transaction. So this is the major update that we're working on for the drip UI for it to be finished, but we're wrapping it up right now. And the goal and what will be done is the drip UI will be finished by the time Jungle Bills is ready to go. Meaning by the time ApeSwap is promoting the new product, which is utilizing drip, everybody that gets exposure to this new product and to drip through this new product will be accessing the new UI. Right? That's the goal. That's what we're going to do. So that gives us a couple weeks to get it done. And we're grinding right now to get it done. Now, I know you guys, like you guys are the core, right? You guys are tapped in. I know you're tapped in because you're here right now. We spend, so I know you appreciate this, but there's 43,000 people in here. So I don't know if people realize how much time we put in on the behind the scenes in negotiating deals, working with potential partners, going over potential partners' white papers, auditing their code, constantly denying them because 90% of them are garbage. That's more than a full-time job. So, but we're grinding, and we have a few really good partners that are ready to go when we're ready to push the vaults on Animal Farm. So one of the things that we did, actually, let me not even give that away. Anyways, we figured out a really good way to find partners for the vaults, and we're just we're compiling them right now and essentially vetting these projects because very shortly after the Animal Farms and pools go live, I want to push the vaults because the vaults are going to be a huge promotional opportunity for us because essentially we'll be onboarding other dev teams. They'll be promoting the fact that you can earn yield on our farm, and it's mutually beneficial because it's a co-promotion. First of all, we have a massive community. It gives them exposure to our community for their product and their token. It also allows them incentive for people to add liquidity to their token, but this liquidity will be added to our native assets, essentially utilizing our native asset as a reserve currency, like how everybody else is pairing, with BUSD or BNB. They'll be pairing with our native assets. right? That adds liquidity to our tokens. That incentivizes their community to buy our tokens, so they're able to be paired with it, and the rewards for these vaults are paid out in the partner's token, so it doesn't inflate our supply either. So this is huge, right? I feel like the vaults. So I feel like the piggy bank, the pig pen, the farms and pools, and the governance protocol are the lifeblood of the product, of the platform. And I feel like the vaults are going to be what, almost like the heartbeat, right? It's going to be what gives continuous, renewed excitement to the protocol. Every couple months, we have a new vault open with a new partner, providing a new opportunity to earn yield and introducing a new community, right? We'll be working with up and coming communities with a lot of hype behind them, introducing them to our platform and giving them new incentive to buy our assets. And this is going to be what drives the hype and what drives the sustainability in a great way. So the vaults are very important, and that's something that we're working on currently, right? Getting partnerships lined up and ready. So as soon as Animal Farm is live as a whole, we have partners lined up and ready to go. We have a few of them that are already ready to go, but I'll wait till we're at the point when we're ready to launch the vaults until we name them. But one of them, for example, that is a no-brainer is Ape Swap, and this is something that they're interested in, they're excited to do, right? So I'm very, very bullish on Animal Farm, and I think right now is when people who are not the people that buy tops, right? This is when people, this is the opportunity for people that know how to see value and are invested in undervalued assets with future potential, right? Because that's what you want to do as an investor. The whole market, essentially everybody in crypto, buys tops, right? That's what they do. The price is pumping, so they buy. And then they get slaughtered when the people who were smart and bought value dump on them. This is your opportunity to buy value, right? This is your opportunity to get in because you know about the future products that are coming, and then earn, capital as these products are introduced and we see price appreciation. And then when all of these people are coming in, to buy the top and pumping, this is when you can take a little profit, right? So I would say, be patient, have a long-term perspective on the project, because is it your typical crypto project where it's just we're trying to get a hype off launch, and then that's it, right? Hype off launch, everybody makes a quick pump off launch, dumps it. 90% of people lose money anyways because they bought the top, and that's it. Move on to a new project. That's not what this is, right? We're in this for the long term. We're going to continue to build for it. We're going to continue to grow it. And the longer that we perform, the deeper we'll set our roots in the space as being a trustworthy farm that you can put significant capital into. And that's when you really grow as a farm. That the long-term sustainability is what attracts a lot of the big money coming into farms. Now, when you consider that on BSC, I would say the two best places you could be staking your funds if you want to safely be earning yields with little to no risk and decent yield, it's ApeSwap or PancakeSwap, right? That's where you can safely earn yield on BSC. And the beauty about Animal Farm is it allows you to stake an Animal Farm be on the cutting edge of innovation in DeFi as far as farms go, with the dynamic emission rates, with the governance protocol, with the BUSD dividends, and the truly decentralized ownership protocol, with the only variable time locking staking protocol. We have so much that none of these other farms have. And on top of this, all of the capital is staked on the farm also gets staked in PancakeSwap and PancakeSwap. So you're still benefiting from the safest and I would say, most in-demand farming and lending protocol while being at the cutting edge as well in animal farm. So you're getting the best of both worlds. If I was going to be staking my capital right now, if I, say, which actually I am, right? I have over $1 billion staked in PancakeSwap. Why did I choose PancakeSwap, right? And why will I choose ApeSwap when this deal finalizes? Because they're a place where you could earn significant yield, right? 40, 50% a year with the lowest risk model in all of BSC. And that's important to me because, yeah, there are places where I could earn higher yield, but we see what happens. Projects come and go all the time. I'm not into keeping a significant portion of my capital to earn yield in a come and go type of project. I would rather earn less yield for security and knowing that I'll be able to maintain this yield for a significant amount of time. I won't need to be constantly moving my capital around from place to place to place, chasing yield until one time I put it in the wrong one and boom, something happens, right? So this is why I have over $1 billion staked in PancakeSwap, and this is why we're working with PancakeSwap to earn additional 30 to 40% APY on all of the capital that we have on our farm, which gets paid out as BUSD dividends to the pigpen. And on top of this, you're earning all of the yield in animal farm. So there's nothing like it in the space. I'm extremely confident that when we have, all hands on deck, when all the contracts are running, we're going to outperform all the other farms in the space. Look at pigs, right? We launched pigs. We got over $77 million worth of TVL in pigs in a bear market. That's huge. That shows the kind of demand we have. Now, it's time to take that demand and really start working with it. Really start pushing these products, pushing Animal Farm, pushing the governance, and just get everything running. All hands on deck. So that's what we're preparing to do right now. On Monday, this is when people will be able to start crediting their dogs. We're going to leave it open for a week. And then at the end of the week, I'll give an update to the mastership contracts. Right? But we've done most of the contract work. And as I've showed for some pictures, the UI is basically done except for some cosmetic things. We need the background and that kind of stuff. So we're working. We're grinding hard to get the work done, and it's getting done. Now, one more thing is in the DAO right now, we are doing a raise for AcquireFi. This is a peer-to-peer venture capitalist marketplace that allows developers to sell their products and their services in a marketplace like nothing that exists right now, right? So they have a major first mover advantage here. And essentially the way it will work is, say you have a crypto domain, say you have a bridge that you built that is earning yield and generating income for the owner, but you don't have a major community or you don't have a network to promote it. You could sell these on this peer-to-peer marketplace to venture capitalists that have the ability to hire marketers, that have the network to make your product a success, essentially. So there's nothing like it in DeFi right now. It's in traditional markets. This kind of venture capitalist, deal flow is huge. But there's even in traditional markets, there's no kind of marketplace that allows you to easily get access to this kind of deal flow. Now, the AcquireFi token will get a share of all the fees. There's a listing fee and also a successful sale fee, which is a percentage of the deal. This goes to buying back and sharing dividends with the AcquireFi holders. And then I would say, more importantly, what's the most bullish aspect of it is the top 3% of products that get listed on the marketplace will get bought by the AcquireFi team themselves, and they have lawyers and people that are going over all these deals to assess value, and the best 3% will be bought by the AcquireFi team themselves, and then owned using a DAO model by the people who hold the AcquireFi token. So this is huge. I believe it's going to be extremely successful. It's by the founders of Paxful, which is the number one or number two peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange in the world. So between him and his partner, they've sold, I think it's 4 unicorn companies. The unicorn companies are companies that were started as small businesses and sold for over $1 billion, right? So if anybody has the team to get something like this done, it's them. And we had a whitelisted raise in the DAO already. So the way I handled this raise was I put a max cap of $5,000 per person. This was to ensure that there would be some left over. This way, everybody in the DAO had a chance to get into the raise if they wanted to get into the raise. That was important to me because people pay a lot of money to get into the DAO. And I wanted to ensure that it wasn't completely first come, first serve, and some people would get left out of the deal. Because if you pay for the REAP tokens and are a member of the DAO, I feel you should have a guaranteed spot in the raises. But we have finished this. We're going to close this today, and then on Monday we're going to have a first come first serve raise. So if you have not joined the DAO yet and you're interested in the AcquireFi raise, right? We got seed and round 1 private. We got the best possible deal you can get on this. They're going to go live in Q4 this year. We're getting it for like a quarter of the listing price. There is vesting, but the vesting is fair. It's a continual distribution. So it's not like you have to wait 4 months or whatever to get your tokens. You're getting a little bit of tokens every day. I think it's going to be a super, super bullish project. I think it's going to be very successful. And you still have the opportunity to get into the raise because of how we, if we had done first come, first serve initially, it would have got sold out in seconds. And there would have been some portion of DAO members that wouldn't have been able to get in. So we did a low cap per person raise, and now we're about to open first come, first serve on Monday. So if you want to get into this this deal, you still have a shot. You need to join the DAO before Monday, and then it'll be first come, first serve. So you're gonna be, you're gonna be paying attention and on your game there. Now for dogs, there's there are several things we're working on for dogs to ensure that we have a stable and bullish launch. One of them is a form of vesting, right, in the mastership contracts. Another thing that we're working on is a type of game. And we're still going over the details to see if we can do this or not, but I think we can pull it off. And with this game, I think is pretty cool. And the way it works is there's a burn rate associated with the token, and there's already a burn rate associated with dogs, right? It's 3%. Instead of taking all 3% and removing it from circulation, the idea I'm looking at now is taking 2%, removing it from circulation, taking another 1%, sending it to a game wallet, and this game wallet acts as a type of Russian roulette. And the way it works is you could send one dog or you could send 5 dogs in, and you have a 1 in 6 chance of winning a prize. Now, if you send in one dog, your prize will be, one size, right? The prize is always the same size. Or if you send in 5 dogs, you'll have a larger prize, but 5 out of 6 times, the dog you send in will be burnt. 1 out of 6 times, you win a large prize. And what this does is it makes a fun game that incentivizes people to be doing a lot of dogs transactions, right? Sending a lot of dogs. It's going to burn a lot of dogs. And then the reward, if you do win, is significantly high enough to incentivize people to play the game. And this is something that I think is going to be very very fun and attractive, and it's just a simple game that is easy to understand, easy to play. You just send a specific amount of dog tokens to the wallet, and you have a 1 in 6 chance of winning. If you win, you get a significant amount of dogs back. Say you send in 5, you will get back 20. If you don't win, you send it, they get burned, right? And I actually did some math here. I'm gonna post. I'm going to post. I did some math and I did some charting. And okay, here, let me show. It burns a lot of tokens, but it also has very nice results for people that play it consistently. So here is the all right. So I'll post it when I get off the call, but I went over some contracts and I did some statistical analysis of this kind of system, and it's gonna burn a ton of tokens, but also the rewards are significant when you win. So I think it's gonna cause a lot of excitement just because it's a fun, easy to understand game, and there's so much things like this that I want to build and continue to build, right? So the main goal right now is to get the dogs migration over. handle the ape swap partnership, which is going to be huge, right? It's going to generate a ton of yield for us and give further incentive to be buying, staking dogs and drip. Get the drip UI done, which needs to get done before the ape swap partnership. So that's within a couple weeks. Get Animal Farm go live, vaults, and then there's so much more after that. But right now it's the dogs migration that is imminent. So prepare your dogs for Monday, but you'll have all week to send them in. Right. So when we get off this call, right, I'm about to get off the call. I'm gonna post some charts for the game, right, that will show some of the statistics on the amount of tokens that would be burned versus the jackpot payouts and all of this stuff. And there are some games that there are two games, right, that I've designed. One of them is the contract's already built, right? This is a game that I've talked about that has the hacker theming that I want to get out. I want to get out by end of year for sure. There's another game that's an auto battler game that I haven't started working on yet, but I have the logic worked out for. But these are, major games, their own projects, major, major productions. Where this kind of game that I'm talking about with Dogs Token is something that's just simple. It's going to burn a ton of dogs. It's going to be fun to play. It's going to get a lot of action. It's going to create a lot of volume. And it's something that we could get done quick. So this is something that I'm looking to have come out with dogs when we go live, when Animal Farm goes live as a whole. Okay, I know one more thing I want to talk about is the governance protocol. So with the yield that we're generating for the TVL on Animal Farm right now is being earned in the form of cake. This cake I'm then taking and putting it in the single asset cake pool so we can earn additional yield on yield on yield, right? Now, of course, in order to pay out BUSD rewards to the Pigpen from this specific cash flow from the rehypothecation, it involves selling cake. I sold not even 10% of what we had to do a BUSD injection last week because I said I would do a BUSD injection last week. But it kills me to sell cake at these prices, especially when I'm highly confident that we bottomed out at 26K. I think that as far as Bitcoin, I think there's a chance that we do a flash crash that maybe, but if we did have a flash crash, I'm talking like less than a week and we close back above 26K within the week. But I'm over 50%, right? I'm fairly confident, to the point where I've put a lot of my money on the line that 26K is the bottom. So I think there's, a chance that we may range around here for a while, but I think the market is going to is going to go up. We're going to go into the next bull cycle from these prices. And it just kills me to sell cake at these prices. All of the other cash flows are automated, meaning I'm not doing anything. I'm not making any decision making at all. For example, the dogs, when dogs is swapped, 3% of it gets immediately swapped from BUSD sent to the Pigpen. The deposit fees, which come into Animal Farm, automatically get a 4 to 6% fee, swap for BUSD sent to the Pigpen. The pig rewards going to the Pigpen from Piggy Bank, that's automatic. Every time there's a deposit withdrawal, they get sent to the Pigpen. Actually, they get sent to a vault that pays out 3% of its balance daily to the Pigpen. So understand that as well. the BUSD and the pigs that are being paid out right now, it's a small fraction of what will be paid out over time because it's all going into a vault which pays out 3% of its balance a day. So, anyways, the what I'm getting at is the only decision making I'm making, is what happens with the cake that's being earned through rehypothecation. The reason why I left that open and left some flexibility there is because I wanted to have some flexibility whether we use it for buybacks or whether we use it for pig pen injections. Now, we've seen in V1 that pig pen injections have a way more bullish of an effect on pigs because if you just use it for buybacks, all that does is people buy right before the buyback and dump right after. You're just paying out whales, essentially. You're paying out whales who aren't even part of the project. They just want to take advantage of the buyback. You pay to the pig pen, you're rewarding the people that are long-term stakers in the project. You're creating more incentive to buy pigs and stake pigs instead of sell it. And in the long term, it has a more positive price impact. And not even on the long term, just completely overall. Because you do a buyback, it pumps and then it dumps almost immediately. Whereas with the pig pen, you incentivize people to buy pigs and they get into the pig pen. So, and then they're in the pig pen for at least 50 days, right? So, well, they can only access 2% of their stake for 50 days. So it's essentially a 50-day stake. So this is the only decision making I'm doing as far as how dividends get paid out is with the cake that's earned through rehypothecation. Currently, all that cake is sitting on PancakeSwap earning yield right now. And I don't want it to be a centralized project in any way. I also don't want to dump cake at these prices. So the plan is to push the governance protocol when we push the full farms UI, which is going to be the next couple weeks, and then allow the stakers in the pig pen to vote whether we sell the cake at those prices or reevaluate it in the next month. And I think this is the best way to handle it. For one, because it buys some time. I really, I don't want to sell cake at these prices. For two, because it puts it in the hands of the investors of the project when that cake is sold. And that adds an element of democracy to the platform that allows the investors to decide what happens with the capital. And it also removes me as a centralized figure making these decisions. So I think that's the best way to handle it, and that's what we're going to do. Understand that we are grinding as hard as we can to get all this stuff done as soon as possible. But we're also not rushing anything because we realize this is a long-term project and we're going to continue to build. And it's going to continue to improve. We're going to continue to add products to it. And we're going to continue to have partnerships and vaults, and BUSD dividends will continue to increase. So we're grinding to get it done as fast as possible, ensuring that we make no mistakes or no errors. But we're not rushing because we see this as a long-term project. And those who treat it as a long-term project are going to be the ones that benefit in the long run. And you can look at the history of all my projects. I've never launched a project that had an immediate pump and then kind of fell off and then fizzled out, right? All my projects have had, a nice start, have had a bit of a correction, typically triggered by a market correction, which is exactly what happened here, which is exactly what happened after the launch of Drip, which is exactly what happened after the launch of Reap. We then find the bottom, stay there for a couple months, and then the next leg hits, right? We've built up the momentum and the investor base. So when the next shoe drops, which in this case will be the animal farm contracts, the master contracts, we found our bottom already. We could kick off to all time highs. And there's been so many times with drip, for example, that we've pumped, we've hit all time highs, we've had a correction, we've sat for a couple months at these corrected prices. People start flooding. That's what everybody likes to act like. They never believed in drip and all these stuff. And then a couple months later, we have some new bullish thing happen, whether it's a partnership, whether it's a new integration to something, whatever it may be, whether it's a change in the market as a whole. And we break new all-time highs, and we make those previous all-time highs look like a blip on the chart. And I'm very confident in all of our current projects, just like I was confident in Reap. When Reap launched, we did multiple X. Then we had a correction because the whole market was correcting. Plus, Reap was the first reflective reward token, and Reap was the first deflationary reflective reward token, and we got forked. We got forked endlessly, right? And what happened was we had a big pump, and then we got forked a million times. It kind of diluted the demand for the product. We had a correction. We sat there for a few months, and then I launched the DAO, and you needed to hold Reap to be a part of the DAO. And Reap broke previous all-time highs by a factor of at least 10, right? And that's like 100x pump. So I'm about the long-term vision. I'm about just continuing to build, continue to add value. Ensuring security is always, our number one priority. And just, continuing to evolve and improve. And that's what we're doing here. So, be patient, use your referral links, and stay focused and pay attention, because you don't want to miss anything either, right? Next week, well, by the end of this week, we'll have the crediting going. The crediting will run for all next week, and early next week, I'll be making an announcement about the pigs crediting as well. So, just to speak on pigs crediting, like one last time before we go, if you think that you should have gotten pigs in the first crediting and you did not get them, you will get them in the second crediting if you were supposed to get them. Okay, so if you're anxious because you think you should have got pigs and you didn't, there are still 700 people that need to get credited for pigs. Understand that it's a small amount of pigs. It's less than 2% of the supply. And we'll be crediting them through the crediting contract, which means in order to get them credited, you either need to send them to the pig pen, which will be vested, or to the piggy bank, which relies on you sending BUSD in, which is actually bullish for the price of pigs. It will be a bullish event for pigs. But, if you're anxious right now because you think you should have got pigs and you didn't, we're going to be handling that next week. And it wasn't an error on our end. It was a fact that pigs were available to claim on MasterChef. We said we would credit people for this. We haven't credited them yet because we were going to credit them with the new MasterChef contracts. But after some discussion, some internal discussions with the team, we want to get these credited out as soon as possible. Because, for one, it caused a little bit of fun when people are saying, "Oh, I'm owed pigs. I still haven't got my pigs. What happens with my pigs? What's going on with pigs?" Right? So we want to settle this, and also it's more bullish for the pigs token to credit them through the credited contract than any other way, because credit through the credited contract ensures vesting or ensures that they're adding liquidity, and that principal is locked to the piggy bank. So either way, it's bullish for pigs. So just stay tuned. We have a lot coming up. We're going to be pushing some updates to the UI within the next 48 hours, the countdown to the next compound, and the button to compound all stakes. We just removed the countdown for withdrawals on Pigpen because it was confusing, and it just got, that's just one of the things that got added to the list. Essentially, I wanted what was on the list was countdowns for stakes, and the Friday guys made one for Pigpen as well. I asked them to remove it, but anyways, that's what that was. And that's it, guys. I'm gonna schedule some interviews for next week. I thought the Crypto Junkies interview went very well. They were great guys. That was a lot of fun. We're gonna set up another big interview like that for next week. I'll be announcing it shortly. And that's it, guys. Just stay patient, pay attention. We got a lot coming. We're gonna ensure that the dogs launch is handled, in a way that causes positive price appreciation in dogs and stability. And that's it, guys. We're grinding. We're getting things done. So that's it. I wanted to give you guys an update. I've been dying. Like, I don't want to go into health things, but I've had a toothache. I spent all day at the dentist yesterday. I've been dealing with that. It's so hard dealing with a toothache. But anyways, that's just a personal thing. I got to go back to the dentist tomorrow, so that'll be handled. But as I'm sure you can hear, my dog's freaking out because someone just got here. Seems like that always happens when I'm about to wrap up voice chat. But that's it, guys. I gotta go. Thank you. I'll be in the text chat. Bye.